Sagittarius, what great adventure is calling you forward? What if a powerful realization, something expansive, true, and long-awaited, was quietly setting the stage for your next big journey right now? Would you be ready to leap into the unknown? Or would you try to rationalize this overwhelming sense of limitless possibility building around you? You are here right now, not by accident. You were led here by the pursuit of something greater. Welcome to Cosmic Treasure, a sacred space where divine timing speaks and purpose always finds its way to the surface. This message isn't just another horoscope. It's a sacred activation for those who have the vision to see and the courage to jump. If you're watching this, especially as a Sagittarius or someone with Sag placements in your Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus, then the universe is placing you on the launch pad, not in fear, but in divine anticipation. You are entering a spiritual portal, a window of cosmic expansion where your path will become clear. The energy of this week is not random. It is targeted, purposeful, and unstoppable. There are movements happening across the horizon, plans being solidified, visas being processed, or a massive philosophical shift quietly unfolding in your awareness. And somehow you're energetically connected to it. You may not be the one doing all the planning, but you are standing at the center of a pivotal journey unfolding. That's why you've been feeling it. The restless energy, the intense wanderlust, the sense of being ready for your next great leap. This is not just a flight of fancy. This is prophetic vision and Sagittarius. No other sign is better equipped to sense the path not yet mapped. That's why this video exists, to guide you, to prepare you, to remind you that you are not powerless. You are expansive, protected, and aligned for your highest truth. You are not here to hesitate. You are here to take flight. The cards drawn for this week, the Wheel of Fortune, Temperance, and Knight of Wands, speak for themselves. A massive favorable shift is about to erupt. Something once blocked will be set free. An opportunity near you, possibly involving travel, teaching, or publishing, is ready for your action. But here's the most important part. You don't need to do anything except remain rooted in your faith. Just like the Hierophant, another card drawn for this reading. You've known for a long time what your true calling was. Your restlessness was never confusion. It was a sign of your soul stretching. And now the moment for action is catching up with your vision. As it says, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Divine guidance never needs to push. It simply arrives in perfect timing through perfect synchronicity. Now, I want to pause and say thank you, deeply and sincerely. Thank you for being here, for every like, every comment, every time you subscribe and share. You bring light to this community. Your presence helps this message reach others who are also searching for clarity, peace, and divine truth. Your support breathes life into this channel. And for that, I'm incredibly grateful. If you've been sensing a great adventure stirring around you, even without a ticket, then this message is for you. And if something I've said so far resonates in your spirit, please take a moment to write in the comments. I am ready for the next adventure. Say it boldly. Declare it in faith. When you do, you're not just leaving a comment. You're aligning your energy with the universe and inviting divine purpose to work through your life. Stay with me. Sagittarius. What we're about to uncover next may explain everything you've been quietly feeling and why now is the time to protect your expansive vision more than ever before. There are moments in life when we sense a new path stirring long before it takes form. A subtle flicker of a foreign land, an open window in our beliefs, a feeling that something big is about to launch, even when nothing obvious has occurred. For you, Sagittarius, that sense is more than intuition. It's a built-in compass designed not just to survive change, but to seek it. And this week, that inner radar is ringing louder than ever. When the Wheel of Fortune, Temperance, and Knight of Wands appear together, It's not a coincidence. It's a clarion call. Not for hesitation, but for action. The Wheel of Fortune doesn't merely represent luck. It symbolizes a divine cycle of favorable change. Temperance doesn't merely balance, it restores alignment with your highest self. And the Knight of Wands isn't just energetic, he's ready to ride toward the horizon. Together, these energies mark the beginning of an expansive shift. A dream long held is inching toward realization. And you, Sagittarius, are not waiting for it. You are a proactive force standing at the precipice of its unfolding. This doesn't mean you have to rush. Quite the opposite. You are not the subject of chaos. You are its master. An opportunity close to you, perhaps even a mentor or a publishing deal, is entering a moment of divine timing. Not because you wished it, but because purpose, like light, has a natural way of rising. And when it does, it illuminates all things possible. You may have felt this growing exhilaration. Perhaps there were synchronistic meetings, unexpected offers, or subtle shifts in your perspective. Perhaps your spirit simply whispered, "Take the leap." That whisper was not your imagination. It was your gift of energetic foresight coming alive. Astrologically, this moment is further amplified by the Sun trining Jupiter, a powerhouse of luck, expansion, and higher vision. What has been suppressed, delayed, or limited emotionally, academically, or geographically cannot stay buried under this transit. Freedom demands form. Small-minded structures collapse where you have cemented your belief too long. Mars, the planet of action, turns the volume up on forward movement, longue distance plans, and most notably, the courage to be honest. If there's a journey with missing pages, they're about to be uncovered. And with the North Node traveling through Aries, your personal initiative finds its way home. Anyone who tried to keep you small, anyone who played with your joy or stifled your truth, is now facing the natural consequence of that energy. You don't need to fight it. You only need to ride with it. You see, divine timing doesn't need a map to deliver purpose. Sometimes it uses the most optimistic observers, the ones who held their vision, the ones who walked away with integrity to be its clearest compasses. And if you've been that compass, then your moment of understanding is approaching, not in a loud or destructive way, but in a way that offers you a strange sense of peace. The kind that comes when your soul finally sees alignment between what it always felt and what the world now confirms. This is where your self-mastery deepens. This is where your role transforms, because instead of reacting, you now get to respond with presence, with clarity, with the calm knowing that what was limited in you, be it opportunity time or vision, is being restored not by force, but by flow. And that is what makes this moment sacred. It is not about proving, it is about professing. It is not judgment, but the joy of the journey. So I invite you now to feel into this. Is there a massive goal in your life whose time feels fragile? Is there an adventure you've been carrying quietly that the world is just now catching up to? Let me know in the comments. Not because you need validation, but because writing it affirms that you trust your inner knowing. And sometimes just saying it aloud is enough to anchor the energy that brings the opportunity into the light. Right. I trust the journey to unfold. Because Sagittarius this week, it will Sagittarius. There is a quiet power that comes from knowing, from having sensed the direction long before the world could catch up to it. And this week, that quiet knowing is beginning to glow brighter. The Hierophant appears not to alert you of something new, but to confirm what your soul has long whispered to you in still moments. You didn't need a detailed map. You felt it in the vastness of the sky, in glances that held a shared vision, in stories that added up perfectly. You felt it in the shift of someone's presence, in the excitement behind a new idea, and the way your own energy expanded when theirs entered the room. And still, you didn't force a move. You chose stillness over rushing, vision over distraction, not because you were afraid, but because you were wise. Now the energy shifts. The purpose that once needed no words is rising. And though everything in you may want to shout, "See, I told you so," this is the moment to lean even deeper into stillness. Because this time, you don't need to explain. You don't need to push. The path is revealing itself on its own through time, through natural consequence, and through divine alignment. That's what makes your silence sacred. Not the silence of avoidance, but the silence of alignment. The deep, unwavering trust that what belongs on your path will rise without force. This is where true emotional maturity is tested. Anyone can speak up in anger. Anyone can react when they feel wronged. But it takes spiritual strength to witness the unraveling of an old pattern without getting entangled in its collapse. To stand still while destiny does its work, to allow what was hidden to come forward. Not as your victory, but as part of the greater balancing of energy. When a philosopher says, "The universe is change," our life is what our thoughts make it. It isn't just a warning to the complacent. It's a quiet assurance to the faithful, the ones who swayed in silence, who led with truth, who held their ground in stillness. This is your assurance. The unfolding is already happening. Astrologically, you are standing at a threshold. The planetary alignments this week are supporting disclosures. Jupiter amplifies speech, philosophical developments, and karmic clarifications. Mars, steady and swift, enforces long overdue action. You are not here to chase these energies. You are here to align with them, to continue embodying the steady presence that you already are. The presence that held vision gently when no one else was ready to hold it with you. Let yourself witness what you already knew, and let that witnessing empower you, not into judgment, but into freedom. Because the gift of seeing truth ahead of time is also the burden of carrying it alone. Until now, you are not carrying it alone anymore. The air around you is shifting. The energetic field is beginning to speak what your spirit already knew. What a blessing it is not to say, "I told you so," but to breathe and say, "I'm no longer holding it by myself." The law of attraction teaches us that when we stay grounded in our vibration, everything meant for us will unfold with ease. This is one of those moments. Your energy has already done the heavy lifting. Now you simply allow the results to unfold, not by forcing outcomes, but by staying rooted in the power of your stillness. If this resonates with you, if you've been holding on to a truth that's only now being seen, I invite you to speak not to the world, but to your spirit. Say it aloud, or if you feel called, share it in the comments, not for validation, but for confirmation. I trust the journey to unfold in its time, because it will, because it is, because it already has. And you, Sagittarius, are ready to witness it with the grace and quiet power that only you can embody. When you've been called to stand in truth, Sagittarius, your energy becomes a lighthouse, not just for yourself, but for others navigating darkness they don't even realize they're in. But being a lighthouse comes with its own weight. The very light you carry makes you a magnet, not only for those seeking clarity, but also for energies that are confused, chaotic, or ungrounded. And that's why this phase is not only about observing purpose rise around you, but also about protecting the space within you where that truth lives. Your energy is sacred. It's a field, a subtle magnetic realm that absorbs, reflects, and transmits. When you walk into a room, you don't just see people, you sense them. Their stress, their masks, their intentions, whether spoken or hidden. And lately, you may have felt more drained than usual, even without any visible cause. Perhaps your sleep has been disturbed. Perhaps you felt a sudden wave of restlessness, a need to pull away, to cocoon. That isn't weakness. That's your soul signaling shield up. Because as truth exposes itself, Many people around you may begin to project, to react, or to reach for your grounded energy without even realizing what they're doing. This is the moment to consciously protect what is sacred, to visualize your inner world as a glass dome of light, not to isolate yourself from others, but to filter what enters and what stays. Just as you wouldn't allow a stranger to walk uninvited into your home, you must treat your energetic space with the same care. That doesn't mean rejecting others or living in fear. It means standing fully in your light and not dimming it for anyone who doesn't yet know how to stand in theirs. Color carries vibration. This week, the color purple is a quiet ally, regal, spiritual, expansive. Surround yourself with it if you can. Wear it. Meditate with it. Visualize it as a soft glow wrapping around your shoulders and heart. Purple doesn't just shield, it also awakens your higher vision. That calm, quiet vision that tells you what's real without having to be proven. Numerologically, we enter the frequency of 9, the number of spiritual completion, philanthropy, and universal wisdom. The 9 asks you not to isolate, but to choose your spaces wisely, to be selective about where you invest your energy, who you let into your inner circle, and which voices you allow to influence your peace. This is not withdrawal, it's realignment. When you protect your energy, you also protect your path. You give yourself the space to hear, to feel, and to respond with clarity rather than reaction. You begin to notice the difference between what belongs to you and what belongs to someone else, between your own emotions and what you've absorbed. If lately you felt watched, unsettled, or as if something unseen is brushing against the edges of your field, honor that. It's not paranoia, it's perception. And it's the signal that now is the time to claim your energetic authority. Take a moment, place your hand on your heart, breathe deeply, and say aloud, I am surrounded by the light of truth. Only what aligns with my highest good may enter. Say it with conviction. Let your words wrap around you like a shield. And if this message resonates with your experience, I invite you to write in the comments below. I am surrounded by the light of truth. Your energy is not just something to manage, it's something to honor. And this week, Sagittarius, that honor begins with choosing to be the guardian of your own light. When life begins to shift around you, Sagittarius, the universe doesn't just send signs in the sky or flashes of intuition. It speaks through the rhythm of your daily life, in the quiet ways your body reacts to food, in the subtle fatigue behind your eyes, in the way a conversation with a coworker suddenly feels different, or how an old connection resurfaces unexpectedly. Part of your soul's evolution this week is not just to watch events unfold, but to take ownership of your inner world, your body, your work, your finances, your heart, and treat them as sacred ground. This is where healing begins, not in grand gestures, but in small, conscious acts of alignment. Your body, for instance, is more than just a vessel. It is an antenna for energetic truth. And when your system is overloaded, whether by processed food, tension, or overstimulation, it dulls your ability to listen to your intuitive guidance. That's why this week calls for gentleness with yourself. Avoid foods that inflame or agitate. Choose things that ground and soothe. A warm cup of herbal or ginger tea in the evening isn't just calming, it's a ritual that signals to your nervous system, I am safe. I am home. Deep breathing before bed is more than a technique. It's a doorway into restoration, a gentle reminder that you don't have to carry the energy of the day into your dreams. In your work life, the winds of change may blow in suddenly, and while you may be tempted to react or act quickly, now is not the time to push. If your intuition whispers, wait, listen, the cosmos is setting the stage for a shift in alliances. A past colleague or client, perhaps someone who once underestimated your vision, may circle back with a new opportunity. But discernment is key. Let their actions, not their words, speak first. The most empowered decisions often come not from urgency, but from presence. Financially, this is not the time to gamble or move in haste. The alignment of energies this week asks you to slow down, to double-check, to trust that missing an opportunity is far less dangerous than rushing into a trap disguised as a blessing. Hold your resources close, both literal and energetic. A solid reserve of cash is wise, but so is reserving your yes. If something feels off, even if you can't explain why, give yourself permission to pause. True abundance flows from clarity, not chaos. In the space of love, your heart may be stirred by someone from the past. But the stars caution. Apologies mean little without evidence of change. If someone returns with words of regret, observe with openness, but stay rooted in reality. Have they grown? Are their patterns different? Does your spirit feel safe in their presence? If not, you owe no one a return to old pain. And if you're single, this week isn't about chasing love. It's about deepening the relationship with yourself. The most magnetic version of you is the one who is at peace with who you are when no one's watching. Self-help isn't about fixing what's broken. It's about returning to what is already whole within you. Each choice you make this week is an act of affirmation. I matter. My time is sacred. My energy is valuable. My body is a temple. My peace is non-negotiable. Let that be the foundation you build from. If this resonates, write in the comments, I honor myself with every choice I make this week. Let that be your quiet commitment to yourself. One sacred decision at a time. Sagittarius, after all the revelations, the energetic shifts, the emotional recalibrations, and the quiet visions you faced, this final part of your journey invites you into something sacred. The power of still becoming. You are not who you were at the start of this week. You've seen what needed to be seen. You felt the currents shift beneath your feet. You've held your ground while truths unraveled around you. And now, without needing to fight or chase or prove, you're stepping into something new. Not as someone who survived the storm, but as someone transformed by it. There's a kind of strength that doesn't announce itself. It doesn't roar. It doesn't demand. It simply breathes. It watches. It listens. And then it moves when the time is right. That is the kind of strength that is rising in you now. The strength of a soul that didn't collapse when things got hard. The strength of someone who let go of the need to control the outcome and chose instead to stay rooted in truth and presence, in dignity. That's not just strength. That's spiritual maturity. The planetary energies this week whisper something important. The past does not define you, but how you respond to it does. The rebirth you've been sensing, it's not coming from outside. It's rising from within. Jupiter's expansive energy has nudged you to see more, feel more, consider more possibilities. But it's Saturn's wisdom that reminds you, without structure, without intention, expansion becomes overwhelm. You're being asked not just to grow, but to grow with clarity, to stretch with purpose, to let go with grace. Because what's ahead of you requires a lighter heart and a wiser spirit. You may feel something loosening inside an old fear, a limiting story, a voice that used to say, you can't or you're not ready. Let it fall. Let it burn in the quiet fire of your awareness. That voice was never the truth. It was just the echo of someone else's fear, someone else's projection. You've outgrown it now. And when you no longer believe in those lies, you stop needing to prove anything to anyone. That's the real liberation. Not escaping pain, but reclaiming your authorship over what happens next. There's a version of you that's waiting patiently at the threshold of this moment. Not the old you who needed validation, nor the you who tolerated silence when your soul screamed for clarity, but the new you. The version who understands that alignment is more valuable than approval. That peace is more powerful than performance. This you is not afraid of the unknown. This you knows that what is real will remain, and what falls away is not rejection, it's protection. So if you feel like crying, let the tears fall. Not because you're breaking, but because you're breaking free. If you feel exhausted, rest. Not because you're weak, but because you've been carrying more than anyone knows. And if you feel quiet right now, honor that too. Silence is not absence. It's the sacred space where your next chapter begins. Write this in the comments. If you feel it in your heart, I'm becoming who I was always meant to be. Let those words anchor you. Let them carry you. Let them remind you that your story isn't ending. It's just beginning again from a place of wholeness, wisdom, and quiet, unshakable grace. You no longer have to explain yourself. You no longer have to prove your side of the story. The truth has never needed an audience to be real. It simply waits for the right moment to rise. And now, Sagittarius, that moment is unfolding around you quietly, powerfully, irrevocably. There is something sacred about standing still while the storm collapses around you, not in fear, but in trust. Trust that what you've carried in silence was never invisible to the divine. Trust that your patience wasn't passivity, it was preparation. Trust that your calm wasn't weakness, it was wisdom. You were never behind. You were being aligned. Maybe the world called you too philosophical, too much of a dreamer, too independent. But what they didn't understand is that your silence was not empty. It was full of discernment. And now that discernment becomes your power. You don't need to fight to be seen. Your presence speaks, your energy declares, and those who once overlooked you may find themselves searching for the steady light you've always carried. So, let me ask you, what are you ready to let go of now that the truth is doing its work? What would happen if you stopped holding on to fear that no longer belongs to you? What if the version of you who needed to survive could now learn how to thrive? You've done the hard part. Sensing, staying still, staying true. Now comes the sacred part. Living with the peace you've earned, taking care of your body, honoring your intuition, saying no to what drains you, and saying yes to what uplifts your spirit. You are not rebuilding from scratch. You are rising from sacred ground. If there's one thing you take with you from this message, let it be this. You are never forgotten. You are being protected. You are being prepared. And now you are being positioned. The truth is not just rising around you, it's rising through you. Let these last few minutes be a pause of gratitude for how far you've come, for the clarity you've gained, for the strength you didn't know you had until now. And if anything in today's message stirred something in you, an old knowing, a new direction, or a deeper sense of self, I want to invite you to anchor that energy with intention. Take a moment right now and in the comments below, affirm your truth. Declare your alignment. Speak from the part of you that knows my foundation is strong, my energy is protected, and the journey is unfolding. And if you haven't already, be sure to like this video, subscribe, and share this with someone who might need this light. Your presence here matters. Your support keeps this space alive. Every comment, every click, every moment of resonance helps grow this beautiful circle of souls who are choosing clarity, healing, and higher alignment together. Thank you truly for being here with me, with us, with Cosmic Treasure. Your journey is sacred, and I promise you what comes next will be more than revelation. It will be restoration. Are you ready to walk forward with that kind of knowing? Tell me in the comments. Because you're not walking alone. You're walking with purpose. And the universe is already holding the door open for your next breakthrough.